man, the Eagles keep winning. The goalposts are being moved yet again and again, and excuse after excuse on how the Eagles shouldn't have won football games. And I don't get what this world is today. I don't know. I look at other teams, I never see the excuses, but with the Philadelphia Eagles, man, nobody wants us to win this game. Nobody wants us to go all the way to the end and win it. And I hope this just motivates, and I hope that this just makes everyone eat their own words. A lot to talk about here with that. And we're going to be looking at the Vic Fangio, Kell Moore press conferences, and Brandon Graham could return if the Eagles make it to the Super Bowl. That's a whole nother thing to talk about. So let's get straight into it.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. This video is sponsored by BetUS, so definitely go check them out if you guys have not. Now, we're going to be going over, the usual stuff that we usually go over. I think one thing, obviously an Eagles hater that has been an Eagles hater, a Jalen Hurts hater, it's been Chris Sims, okay? We know how we feel about Chris Sims. One of those, those platforms, a guy that has a platform, one of those people that has a platform that has done nothing with their NFL career and thinks they know everything, and that's Chris Sims. This is what he had to say, and this is just, it's entertainment at this point to listen to this every single week, every time the Eagles win. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, if, whatever the case may be, this is what we heard from Chris Sims on why the Rams probably should have won this game over the Eagles. This is insane.
The Rams definitely won the majority of those plays. If it's not for two strips by the Eagles defense and basically the 3 long touchdown runs, I would say you take away those 5-6 plays there, the Rams football team won the majority of the plays on the field in the game that day.
Yo, take away every good play from what a team does on the field and they lose. Well, no shit. This is where we're at now. Take away those 5. It's not even like take away that one play. It's like take away those 5, 6 really good plays for the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Rams would have played better. Well, no shit. It's insane to hear. Like this is where we're at with media. This is where we're at with all these guys that have platforms that shouldn't even have a platform. At least like guys that think they're know-it-alls and think they can. I don't get it, man. It's just hearing this stuff is laughable, and it's just. I just hope I really want the Eagles to win this whole thing. I mean, it's just motivating me even more just to shut everyone the hell up, give respect to this damn quarterback and to this damn team. The Eagles aren't going to this game as underdogs. I don't care what the spreadsheet says on anything. Because at the end of the day, dude, it's always like, trust me, if the Eagles lose this game on Sunday, which they should not, all right, I know that they will get, oh, see, I was right. I was right about this. It's going to be every person saying the same thing. It's really annoying. So this is where we're at with these guys that should have credibility on talking about football teams and football in general. And trust me, I'm nothing special, but I will never say anything like that. That's ridiculous. And that's where we're at with that. So good job, Chris Sims, for motivating this team even more. Now, other news for the Philadelphia Eagles, Brandon Graham. So somebody in the comments section the other day on my last video was like, oh, Brandon Graham could return. And I was like, huh? So then I was just looking for stuff. And then before I even saw the report, they showed a video of Brandon Graham getting interviewed, running off the field. John Clark was there and was like, hey, could you be returning? He said, we'll see. But he didn't say return for the Super Bowl. I don't know if he meant next year. I don't know if he meant the Eagles were bringing him back or something like that. No, this was actually meant for, could he return to, if the Eagles make it to the Super Bowl, could he return? He said, we'll see. So, Graham hasn't played in a while. You know what I mean? Showing up in a Super Bowl, how effective is he going to be if he's able to be there? At the same time, it's like, even if you get him back, how much production is he going to do in one game being back? I'm not really sure. Because when you miss a lot of time, it takes you a week or two to kind of, get back to normal. And getting him back would be great. Obviously, Nolan Smith has taken all of his snaps. We all know this. So thought this was really interesting to get BG back for the Super Bowl, just him to return. I mean, it's a torn tricep, so I don't know how long it was supposed to take. I figured it was going to take a lot longer. So, why he would say we'll see, I'm not really sure. But we'll get back to this if we have the chance to get back to this. We should be. So I thought that was really interesting. Now, Vic Fangio had his press conference. A few things to definitely talk about here. Okay, he did talk about Nolan Smith getting more snaps because BG is out, getting better every single week. And I got to say, guys, Nolan Smith just needed the time. He needed the reps. You see what he had no sacks. He had nothing before the bye week. Post bye week, he's been absolutely amazing. Had the forced fumble in this game, and I think had a sack as well. So I thought he did really well in this game. He's always making some sort of play. The Georgia boys are taking over up front, and couldn't be any happier. I'm so happy about Nolan Smith and just what he's done so far. He did talk about, someone asked, why did Rodgers come in as the backup? It's mostly been Ringo. But Vic Fangio has said that, Isaiah Rodgers is the prime backup right now. And I think it's very good depth. Isaiah Rodgers has not only a special teams pedigree at kick returner, but my God, he has been a capable starter, especially with the Colts for a few years and still relatively young. So getting him off getting him signed, on top of the gambling and what happened last year, the Eagles were the only team to have interest in Isaiah Rodgers in the middle of the whole gambling situation when he was suspended for the whole year. And I thought Isaiah Rodgers came into camp really well. And I know Vic Fangio was happy with him all of training camp. Now, he did say he kind of fell off a little bit after the broken hand. Remember, he had the broken hand before the season started, missed a few games, came back. So even, Fangio said when he actually came back, he wasn't really the same, but he has gotten better. So I think Isaiah Rodgers has been very valuable. He is a free agent after this year. So it's going to be interesting to see if Slay gets traded or retires, Quinyon being the number one corner, who will be that number two? Do they go with Isaiah Rodgers? Or do they go a different direction? Should be really interesting. Obviously, he went over Jaden Daniels. All praise for Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. Saying that Jaden Daniels is really tough to handle because, they have a lot of quarterback run design, especially out of shotgun. And obviously what he did in college to what he's doing in the NFL, being very comfortable in the situation that he is in play calling wise, makes him another layer of a weapon. We know Jaden Daniels is really, his feet really give him that, of how dangerous he could be back there. So he gave a lot of praise towards that team, obviously. He says the pass rush has to be better. Containment has to be better going into this game because of the QB run designs, out of the gun, keeping it in that way. So I think obviously, don't want to create those big lanes for the quarterback. And I think the Eagles have done relatively well, against, mobile quarterbacks this season. I think they've done a pretty good job of that. Obviously, the last time the Eagles faced the Washington Commanders, the Eagles had a pretty big lead. Jalen Hurts gets hurt, and pretty much the defense was on the field too much. And, the Eagles just couldn't handle that the entire game, unfortunately. So, third time's the charm in Philadelphia, and I guarantee you Washington is walking into this game as cocky, conceited, feeling themselves a little bit. They're feeling really good about themselves, but the king is back at quarterback now. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to see what's up when the time comes. He did talk about Jalix Hunt as well. Jalix Hunt got his first sack, which is great. I think Jalix Hunt only had 8 snaps in this game, probably a little bit more, not much. But, Jalix Hunt was a player that we were, on the perimeter. He was a great perimeter player for Vic Fangio's defense as an edge rusher that could be in coverage, obviously from a small school, safety transition to an edge rusher. And they didn't really play him middle. They played him in a lot of special teams, but he really didn't get a chance on the defensive line till the middle to late-ish of the year. And it's still working. And those few snaps that he was in, he actually had 2-3 pressures in that game plus a sack. So Jalix Hunt, is coming into his own, and I think he still needs to work at it. But, in the rotation, I think he's been good. I think he's been fine. And he did talk about why they went with Oren Burks over, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. in this game. Burks was just playing too good for them to switch it. I saw Trotter Jr. a couple times. He probably barely even had 5 snaps in this game. But Burks, I think one of my biggest problems with him has been in his pass coverage, but I thought he actually did really well in this game. And, when these guys play more, they just play better. And when they practice with first team, they just get better throughout the week. And I think Burks is really coming to his own as well. Had a deflection, really good run support. Obviously, he's one of our best special teamers, as well as Sidney Brown and a couple other guys. So Burks, I've really liked, and I guess they like him more than Trotter Jr. right now. And it's not that Trotter Jr. is bad or anything like that. I think because it was working out so well, Fangio didn't want to get cute. You want to just keep it the way it was, as the game was going on with him. So that was pretty much the press conference with Vic Fangio. Nothing crazy. But yeah, look, the number one thing right now is getting, going to this game against Washington defensively is going to be getting to Jaden Daniels, getting pressure and, containing that outside, making sure that there's these big lanes that are not opened up. And that's really my main thing. Jaden Daniels is really the main thing. Obviously, they got 2 really good backs. We know what the receivers look like. So you get pressure, you win the game. And I think that's how it goes. So we'll see what happens there. Kell Moore had his press conference as well. Now, there's only one thing I'll probably take from this. I know the beat writers were really nitpicking at the offense and what, and the passing game and blah, blah, blah. And, the Eagles won the game regardless. It doesn't really matter. But, will the game plan change this week? Now, they're going to have a walkthrough practice not available to the media on Wednesday, which is today by the time you're watching this video. Hurts' knee is going to be the big question. We're not going to find out about what's going on with this knee until after the season's over, whether it's after the Super Bowl or after next week, okay? It will be after the Super Bowl. We won't find out nothing. It will be top secret. We'll find out and we'll see on Sunday, the mobility. I thought he had a little bit of mobility even after. I think obviously the safety play when he took the safety, and I have to respect it because as much as you don't want to take a safety and because things are happening so fast when you're pretty much backed into the end zone like that, you don't want to throw the ball and turn over the ball for 6. You'd rather give up the 2 instead of turning it over for 6. And that's really the big thing there. You know what I mean? So, we'll see how the knee is. Kellen says the game plan is really not going to change going forward. Kell Moore did talk about that. The Eagles took too many sacks in this game. And I think part of the reason why is there was a lot of these vertical, long developing plays. I think the short passing game has to be there. Yes, the weather was bad. So, a lot of the players were complaining about the weather and they would, A.J. Brown, I would never, I would never wish this on my own enemy to play in this type of weather. So maybe the receivers didn't really have good footing in this game. I'm not really sure. But, he definitely complained about, the sacks and, I get it, but if you drop back so many times, it's going to happen sooner or later if he's sitting in the pocket, and that's pretty much where we're at. That's really the only thing I really take out of that press conference, and just everybody was kind of not ripping on him, but kind of just talking about the passing game and just how it didn't really develop properly. It just wasn't better than what it should have been. I don't know. But that's really it, guys. We've talked about Chris Sims and his stupid thing that he said. Brandon Graham returning for the Super Bowl if the Eagles make it there. And obviously Vic Fangio has praise for Washington, but, he's praised a lot of it, a lot of this defensive line and wants this pass rush to be better. And I think there's a lot going on here. What do you guys think about this defense going into this game for a third time around against the Washington Commanders and what the Eagles have to do to stop Washington offensively? What do you have to take away to make them one-dimensional, try to get them to that factor? So it's going to be a big game, man. Most expensive game, by the way. If you guys didn't hear, the average ticket prices for this game is over $1,300 a ticket. The cheapest ticket to this NFC Championship game is $620-something. Literally, it's the most expensive. I think this is the most expensive NFC Championship game in history, which is kind of nuts. So I know it'll be jam-packed. Eagle fans will be all over the place, and we'll be ready to go. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Eagles news every single day. Make sure you like the video because it helps the channel out tremendously, and we'll be back soon with more news. You guys enjoy it. I'll see you guys on the next one. Shakes what up, follow us. Peace out, guys. Peace.